I think we're recording now. Welcome, everyone. Today is Thursday, February 29th. It's known as Leap Day because it only comes around every 4 years. So it's very special in our calendar, very unique, especially for folks who are born on this day because they only have a birthday every 4 years.
Oh, that's actually cool and not celebrated.
I saw in the news somewhere where a fine lady was celebrating her 101st year, but that wasn't her 101st birthday because she was born today. So you've had to divide that by 4. So that's kind of a unique thing going on. My name's Molly Hare, and my role on campus is I'm the director for the Faculty Center for Teaching Excellence. And so I'm pleased and honored to be here at the request of Khaled for this workshop on helping you practice your academic speaking skills. So first of all, I'd like you to go around and if it's okay to say your name quickly so I know who's here today.
My name is Colin Malbenchwe. I'm a graduate student in the Department of Earth and Environmental Science. I'm doing my master's in Earth and Quaternary Science.
Okay.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Kuncha. I'm a life science student, so I'm a second-year PhD in Department of Biology. I work with Dr. Ahmad, and I work on fruit flies and cardiogenesis.
Okay. Drosophila.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Hi, I'm Shishi Sharkar. I'm from Bangladesh, and this is my first year PhD, and I'm working under Dr. Cho.
Okay. Counseling. Which Chu?
Dr. Cho, Dr. Q Hong Cho. He's from
Oh,
Bangladesh.
yes. The other. Okay, there are several of those. Okay, very good, very good. All right.
Hello, I'm Rincon. I'm also from Bangladesh and I'm doing my PhD in biology here. And I'm a first year PhD student from Dr. Cho's lab.
Okay, wonderful. I'm so glad you're all here and thank you, Khaled, again for the invitation and Dr. McGrew for spending some time with us as well. So now that I know who you are, and welcome to those who are online as well. Thank you for being here or spending the time watching this recording. I want to have just a recap of what you may have picked up from or learned from Tuesday's session with Dr. Rostam. And I'll write them on the board. Just some tips that you picked up and recall.
We learned about how to keep your presentation like short
Okay.
and also telling a story. So,
And what does she mean by short? Can I figure out what you mean there?
like you have to focus on the main points.
Oh,
You can't just present everything that you did in the presentation. You
yes.
just focus on the main points.
right. Because you're doing a lot of work. And so if you were to put all that work into your presentation, they would have to find a seat and sit down with some snacks, right? So you want to be intentional about what's included in your presentation. Very good. And then what was that second point after the length?
Telling a story just.
Oh, yeah, tell a story. Right.
Also, know your audience and also keep them attentive.
Okay. Wow, that's great. Any tips on keeping attentiveness?
Keep a smile.
Mm.
One of the ways.
Well, and that is a great way because smiles can bring us all together, right? It's kind of a body language type issue. And so the cool thing about hopefully where you're going to be giving your presentations is that you're going to have like-minded people coming to hear what you say. You're probably not going to have someone of a different discipline coming necessarily to your academic session with your academic title and not being interested in what it is you have to say. So you have an advantage there. You can take advantage of those folks who are trying to participate in learning with you, being really curious about what it is you've learned, how it is you're developing your studies to get to the result or your hypothesis that you're hoping to get out of your study.
So
Excellent.
keep them engaged.
Yes.
Yeah. It shouldn't just be about the work you're presenting, but every now and then just try to engage them so that they are like active and pay attention to what
Oh.
you're communicating.
I love to
If
ask
it means
folks
telling a joke,
questions.
tell a joke.
Yeah.
Okay, tell a joke. All right, ask questions. And any idea how long you should, well, how long, it depends on how long your presentations are going to be. Here's the other thing. Most of the time, once you get past your first couple of times of giving these sessions, you're gonna be able to read the crowd. And so you're gonna be able to pick up on some things where, oh, you might be losing them, and then you can ask a question or tell a joke. But for your first few times, you're gonna be focused on trying to remember what it is you're going to say, and that's okay. Perfectly okay, because you have to have that practice in those environments in order to get better, in order to get, not necessarily better, but more familiar with how you're supposed to look, feel, and talk in order to convey your message. So it's fantastic. What else?
Organize your presentation and practice it beforehand.
Which is the purpose of today, right? I don't know that you can even see, you can't even see this on the board. This board isn't so good.
Yeah, no.
So I'm gonna,
We saw that.
We use the black marker. I
oh,
think.
there's
It's
a black one. Black one works better?
I would assume so. Oh, no.
There we go.
It does.
Yeah, I think it can be seen now.
All right, organize and practice. So sometimes it's hard to practice because how do you practice? Do you, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, we kind of saw, or we were told in the session that it's better to record yourself.
Yeah.
So have your phones in front of you, present it, and then critique it.
Yeah.
Or probably let your friends come and sit.
Yes,
And present to
something
them.
or someone, right?
to-
Even if it's your cat, or a stuffed animal, or something that you feel like you're engaging with. Most of the time, what you're gonna do for your first presentations, you're gonna memorize the content anyway. And it's all gonna be about how you're sharing that back out, and that is A-okay. That's what a lot of, in fact, some disciplines, did you know that when they give an academic paper, they read it? They read the paper. English is very, that's their discipline. When they go to conferences, they don't tell you about what they've studied. They read to you a paper that they have written. And so different disciplines have different academic conferences and how they share their information. So you have to understand what the expectation is for the conference that you're going to be sharing your work. Make sure that you're aligning your outcomes with their expectations. Excellent. And did Dr. Rostam give you any tips for nervousness?
Actually, she just told us to, like, since we are not native speakers, like if you are in this kind of setup, make sure you are like calm and slow, like don't be too fast in terms of.
That's so hard to do.
Yeah.
It's very hard because you're nervous. And so you're gonna have the inclination to say everything before you forget it,
Yeah.
for these people.
Before the time is over.
Yes. And you speed up at the end. And it's better if you're running out of time just to cut it short than to hold them over or to talk faster. Especially if, well, we all have an accent to some degree or another. Well, that's excellent. Let's see, what else? Did she perhaps talk to you about, at the end of your session, how to deal with questions that are asked by the audience?
No,
No.
we did not.
Yeah.
In some conferences, you won't have time. It'll just go from session to session to session. But in other conferences, there'll be an opportunity for the audience to ask questions at the end. And sometimes the audience members ask very challenging questions or very difficult questions.
Yeah.
And so it's a possibility that they make you look like you don't know what you're talking about, because they're only there to look good in front of their like-minded, disciplined people. And we call them jerks, but they may come. And so if you think about how you would respond to a question that you don't know the answer to in a genuine way.
I would say it's an interesting angle to think about, and I'll probably, take your advice and go look at it. or
Perfect.
something. Yeah.
Yes, that's perfect, because you're acknowledging that they have a thought and you're acknowledging that you can address it in the future. And it's okay to say, I don't know, but I'm going to look up more information. I might study that more in the future. That's a great, that's a very interesting point. That's a very intelligent thought. And so don't make stuff up that you don't know.
Yeah.
And don't say, "Oh, stop being a jerk. You're just trying to put me on the spot."
So if you
So,
have some sort of like an idea, but you're not confident enough to say, okay, I know it, but you kind of have an idea about it. How do you say that?
I think it depends on your audience. And in the hard sciences, it's been my experience is that you don't say unless you know fully, because somebody out there probably knows fully and they're going to try to trip you up. Now, soft sciences might be different. Every discipline is different. But in experiences in my cases, it's your hard sciences that really are adamant and passionate about their discipline in a way that they want to possibly want to challenge you. And so you don't want to get in a situation in front of a group of people where you're challenging someone back and forth. And so you could say, I thought about it. I don't really know fully. We can talk about this later. I want to do further investigation. I don't know completely. But I've seen situations where there's a back and forth between speaker and audience member, and nobody wins. It's not a winnable situation. So accept the information, tell them that you'll consider it, you'll perhaps even further study it, and then move on. Great. And maybe folks have a really good point about something that you've not studied, and you do truly want to authentically give it more consideration. And that's where you get a lot of ideas for future studies, is by sharing the work that you've done in these types of audiences, because you are working with similar disciplined individuals who are also very curious about learning what you're learning. And so that's where these academic conferences are so awesome. Scary, thrilling, but builds your confidence, allows you to share what you've learned, and perhaps even leave with some ideas for learning even more. Very good. I like the slow speaking, because even the native language speakers need to do that as well, especially because we're nervous. It's a new situation. We're not familiar with it. We have lots of pressures under us, and so we tend to speak quickly. Come on in, friend. Come on in. We're so glad you're joining us. Oh, you're not gonna come? Oh, please join us.
I have other appointments, that's why.
Oh. Well, you can leave when you need to leave.
What time are you closing?
So for now.
Five. Maybe next time.
All right. See you. So the purpose for today was to give you some opportunity to rehearse. And so what I would like to do is I would kind of like to warm up your voices a little bit first by having you kind of talk to one other person and share your first few minutes for what you hope to say. Now, I don't know whether you have your ideas flushed out. You do. So you're ready to share. So I would like to do it small group first.
There was an activity in the previous session
Ah.
where she ended the session with those of us who were here with give us some time to decide upon a topic,
Okay.
make one main point, and say it in 2 minutes.
Okay.
So I think, but they were not present. They
So
don't
let's
have
do that same 2-minute thing.
Yeah.
But we'll kind of have the folks who weren't here blend with the folks who were here, and we'll start there. And then we'll see, we'll open up to the broader space where you're speaking to more people and more people. Okay. And now for this first 2-minute one, we're going to give some soft help if you think they need it. So not harsh criticism, but find 1 or 2 things they're doing well. Maybe one thing you suggest that might help them get more confidence. Okay? All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Either Colin or Dr.
I work group.
Oh, you will. Perfect. So let's have you split up then. Maybe someone you've not worked with.
Okay. Can you come here and sit with Ebenezer? Training.
Ebenezer, I hope that's not your lunch.
That's it, lunch?
Graduate student, he's working all the time.
I understand that. I've had a very busy day as well, so I can relate. Yes.
Sorry? I don't know, maybe we can. Just 2 people?
Yes, 2 people.
Oh,
Want to warm you up.
Or any project you are doing or some research.
Yeah, I think so. So
And
maybe
make
we do
1
today.
or 2 major points.
I don't know, I've pretty much been working on my.
Nice.
So and make it
I'm writing 2 papers.
very specific, like 2 points.
I'm the
And started with introduction and ended with your conclusions, but
and to try to figure out what kind of.
so that was the activity we did. So my presentation was on how writing or how reading can help you become a better writer.
Not so much into it and the time. I would say like right
In
now.
2 minutes on how what idea you are that
Yeah.
I read this thing. and
Hoping
then
I
help
can
you.
find the energy to finish it out, yeah.
And they did their research, whatever project they
So
they
I was working on my
had.
grant.
So now, if you have anything that I can probably help with what we did in the previous session, then come here.
Actually,
Oh.
So setting it.
So you haven't done.
very difficult. Very tough.
Like for in your masters, what was your project you did?
Some amount of data, so it's like my
Okay.
main one is almost about to be done.
In the process, I started with some calas from that crop product, and I added some types of hormones to grow them.
But yeah, it's always like.
Okay, and so I would suggest you say, okay, what was the
Plan
problem?
more experiments.
It was
So
four strains, actually, 3 strains. It's lone wool and
What kind of
other strains from the
Molasses,
they're very
corn.
small.
For them, for the.
So take one of them And then what hormone did you use? Something, it's nothing, it's just a practice to be able to come and present. So you have the crop, what type of hormone you gave, and what result you get. One result or two results that was
We don't get to
So, yes, now I think you see how you can do, you can make a list of that thing.
Do you have,
For example, and then when you go to present, so we were told
just make sure that
first
your
you
one
come
camera
and you tell
Yeah,
a
so we have
relatable story
temperature control
about
incubators
your
in that
crop.
we
For
store them in
example,
small
I
vials
was
where it has you, so they can
in our
sit on
village,
tables
when
and
they were
whatever.
cultivating this crop, the produce was not
Kind of interesting
very
to look
productive.
at, like.
So I had to say, how can I help our farmers? So I went to the lab and conducted this study on this, integrated this hormone, and I found that.
what do they like again?
So that's the way we were told to do it.
Molasses.
Probably.
So it's basically,
The things that you can.
they extract sugar from sugar.
For my presentation.
Some amount of,
Yeah, it's
I think it's
just.
residue or secondary byproduct of that is molasses.
And then you.
It's actually edible, even humans do consume. Maybe a different food grade like.
So it's pretty much,
Our
the
previous session
content is like,
was that
Yeah.
what is named
Sucrose, fructose.
research, and we could deliver it.
Oh, by the way, I remember last time you were telling about these concentrate rings and. Right?
Yes,
Oh,
what you remember.
that gets harder. I mean. I
So if
also
we
remember
remember that main
Oh,
point that was
okay.
intended, then it's
So
a
you
successful
were telling me about
presentation.
that.
Because you actually, you.
Yeah.
I understood that, okay, it was one crop,
Yeah.
one, two hormones, and now you just want to tell us.
yeah, even me to like, 3 years ago, I did not know much. I
That's
didn't,
what the
in fact, I did
intention
not
of the previous session was.
how
This
trees
session is
used
just
to
practical work as we
to
also
understand how trees like respond to those changes.
I'll make your
This training in 2021, and in that training, so in Africa, let me just let tropics, like Africa and South America. We do not have
Very long
No, that was great. It just, I guess, takes a different way of looking at
More of the
it.
Yeah, yeah.
This huge thing comes to presentation.
That data, like in
You focus on the hard.
here in America and Canada, they do use trees to understand like environmental, like how our trees they've been doing like for years, like since
Hundreds or mid-1900s.
yeah, so they've been using it. And in Africa, we have a lot of data, and we have got these tools like that, which shape that situation. And in Africa, we don't have like skills like this, just than like 50 years, what we call chronologies. This is like in other parts of like Europe and North America, this task of studies by programs gives you to see things a little different. So when I go to learn about that, how we were using like trees to understand climate, it's like, to me, it looks like, oh, so we use this, so okay, I want to do this, this is what I want to do, and most of the shit that is not done in Africa, so I want to contribute to like the development of that science.
Do you need to like cut the trees in order to observe the pattern?
So
Or-
before they used to do that,
Okay.
but right now there's what we call extraction method, where there's what we have what we call an infinite border. So it's like you drive it in the tree,
Right.
like it just extracts like what we call a core. Yeah, so it goes like that, yeah, and then you extract it. Yeah, good. And it's pretty much the tree will heal after 3 months. So it's not really like it's a permanent damage.
Got it. Yeah, that's smart. So you just analyze that one. strip
Yeah,
and then-
exactly. So that one core can tell you a lot. So usually what we do is like two course
Have you presented?
from one end and the other end. So trees, oftentimes, I don't know if you've paid attention, some trees when they're growing maybe along the slope, yeah, they curve.
Yeah.
So that also has the effect on how the rings are formed. So sometimes the ring may show from one end, but
And
the
the more
other
you do
end,
it,
it absolutely goes.
I don't know if it's easier.
So that's why we do like two course.
Yes, that's good.
It's pretty much an interesting, I'm just learning, I'm getting exposed, and I would say so far.
Oh, that's great help.
Wonderful time.
Actually, I'm selecting
But
my
the trees that
topic from my master's
with, they are so
difficult
difficult.
to hold up his thesis.
Ah.
Because it
It's
was
really
long
nice
like
You're not gonna,
Yeah.
you're not gonna have time to do the whole thing.
No, so we discussed that take one point
Yeah.
and do it in,
So
say,
we focus on trees that form
and we were like, once it was
So-
so that's what.
the reason
What's the
why
time frame for them?
we don't have a lot of data.
It's poster and 3-minute thesis competition, so posters would be up for 45 minutes.
Why?
So they're really
Because
just
so much
asking
questions
Questions mostly,
Yes.
But
That's
and
good
only
experience
if you
exposure for them.
So
Happen in the
they
future.
in the future, and the 3-minute thesis is just 3-minute presentation, so that 3-minute.
every year they put on one.
Oh,
That's why we're
okay.
able
So,
to.
so folks don't have that 3 minute ready to go for rehearsals.
But other trees.
They would have it,
Would have like 2
after
minutes,
spring break, and there's a training for 3 minutes. Thesis structure, question answers. And then there's a rehearsal for
The
that.
first time I saw that kind of thing was in my relative's farm, is my uncle. So we have a spice, cinnamon, basically cinnamon is extracted from that, right?
Oh,
Yeah, so it's the bark of the tree. So
Oh, okay.
he was doing that, and when I saw, I could like see. It's very interesting.
Yeah, and that's also common. Talk about
My research.
people do.
It feels good.
What we call traditional medicine, because traditional medicine like just like
From the
peel the
bark.
back, yeah, peel the back and
So I can
put
understand.
it in water, soak it in water and yeah,
Have us
drink.
become
That's
points.
Yes, yes, yes.
really great, yeah.
And I like that term.
Especially like grandparents, they are the ones who are like more.
Yeah, that's what happens like if I
It seems like
have my
But
Just call
here you
home
can do that.
and just come home and just tell me like do this, you will just.
Even from me?
it's all about
Yeah,
critical.
almost,
And,
those ingredients are almost used for cooking.
Most folks are gonna say what they want to record.
Oh.
So-
Use that more. Move on to the next.
So which part of,
Great idea.
India.
do you know any last?
Yeah.
Oh, lots of communication.
Yeah.
From my.
But he graduated long back.
No,
So I don't care how many you have. You can have 12.
I
Like,
think kind of,
I'm
not sure.
I mean, we have a few.
Oh, you
young
always
writers,
have,
you know,
yeah.
there's the last three. Before there was Disha, but she's.
Oh, we didn't talk
Yeah,
about
I
that.
know Disha.
Oh, okay, yeah, she's now in, you know.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll do that when they're.
Iraq?
yeah, Hira kind of.
Yeah, yesterday we did.
I mean, most of them were. I don't know, are you guys from the same part?
No, Hira
Mostly
is
how
from
to
different
express.
parts. I'm from Karnataka, which is like
Big thing is not
a
showing.
bit towards south.
But you know, there's a.
We do have like a lot of western
Auto
parts.
repair shop on
So
Spring
that's
Hill.
the belt, you
And
know,
it's
western
got
parts
just a
which
family.
starts from our state and extends to. So a lot of people do research
Very good, they
there
know what to do with their hands, you know, they're doing this.
interesting medicinal
And the
plants.
guy, and
Okay, yeah.
because you're all over. So- And so when you watch the commercial.
Pharmaceutical related science going on in India, like people do, okay, I don't know how true it is, I've never been to India, but people say that
Some level of.
people who make like medicine, their body is like.
That's
I think
true.
it does,
Like,
it makes your brain move,
Yeah,
this is
absolutely.
where
not when you're
they are known
And my
for
brother would be
some
sitting in the audience and
medicines,
he'll just start doing this, pull his shirt out and start drooling. I'd say, that's you.
Oh my God.
Thank you, bro.
but they
Maybe
do,
that's why I've
for
never
some
let my
people.
family go.
Yeah, I don't want him anywhere near it, but they show up.
But it'll be very crowded and people come from like all continents.
How are we doing, folks?
Doing good.
Oh, there was a big sigh.
The enthusiasm you guys have for the research is amazing.
We're having interesting conversations.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. That's great. But at some point, you're gonna have to narrow that conversation point down to something you can do in 3 minutes. Now, 3 minutes could feel like an eternity, or it could go by in like 30 seconds. That really is important for you, especially for this first one, to practice, to rehearse, and to memorize it, so that you know where you are in that point. And with the practice, you know your tempo of your speech, and that will help you keep on point for the 3 minute competition, the 3 minute thesis competition. So 3 minutes doesn't mean you get to talk faster because you got more to say. Keep that in mind, especially if you want to share everything you know. And as folks who are passionate about your research, you want to share everything that it is you know. So rehearse, practice, know what you're going to say ahead of time. What should we do for body language? What do you think is body language that you want to watch when you're watching someone give a presentation?
He should be flexible with his body. I mean, if he turns and like this, and yeah, there's something required. So he can be flexible. I mean, so explain what terms is. I mean, he can use his hands like he's playing like this.
Yeah, so not pulling your phone out and looking at it and yeah, leave the phone away. Leave it away. It's not considered to be very scholarly if you're presenting with your hands in your pockets. So sometimes we do that when we're nervous. But try not, you can put your hands behind your back, in front of you, you can let them hang naturally. You can use them to gesture with.
Yeah.
That's very appropriate. Try to find body language that's natural to you, that doesn't look like you're afraid. And that's common because you're nervous. So especially if you're recording this on your phone, make sure that you're standing away from it so it captures some of your body language and you can see, oh, I'm terrible with facial expressions. I am not a poker player. You cannot hide. I cannot hide what I'm feeling. It shows up naturally. And so for me, that when I first started out, more so than now, I was so nervous that my face was a different color because of nerves. And it just gets easier over time. There's nothing I could do about my hormones changing the color of my face because, or maybe endorphins, maybe not hormones, because of the nature of the conversation that I'm having. So think about your body language, think about and practice what it is that you want to do with your body to help you convey your message. All right, I would like for us to get up in front of the room and see if you can't talk for a couple minutes, hopefully on the topic that you're interested in discussing. Maybe you have a start of some ideas that you would like to convey. And then maybe we'll try to go for 2.5 or 3 minutes. And the rest of us who are watching, we're going to try to give supportive comments at the end. And then we'll see where that goes. Okay. Anybody want to go first? Volunteer before victim, I guess.
Wanna go first?
I went first last time.
Okay.
Good for you.
Yay.
He's great.
He's a great speaker.
And so, welcome, Dr. Ebenezer.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ebenezer, and I want to talk to you about my topic, which is exploring the experiences of student affairs practitioners in Ghana. There is a call for student affairs as a profession on a global scale to meet the demands of higher education and the and the student expectation in the higher education, especially after the COVID-19. However, student affairs is not a profession in African continent, especially in Ghana, but there are people who have come to the United States like myself to study student affairs as a profession and expecting to go back and practice it. So as student affairs, which is established as a profession here in the United States and in Canada and some part of UK, it is not like that in Africa. But then there are people who are studying who are practicing it back in Ghana. So my aim is to know what experiences that they are feeling. What are the challenges that they are going through and how are they meeting the demands? Because it is a different terrain with different cultural dynamics as in Africa opposed to either United States. At the end of the day, I want to see that their challenges and how they are overcoming their challenges give a way for future direction to practice student affairs in Ghana. Thank you.
A little over 2 minutes.
Okay, so
Let's share for Dr. Ebenezer some things that Oh, I gotta get used to that, so sometimes. I loved how you were standing up straight.
Yeah, me too. The projection of your voice, it was really
Yeah.
good. And
thank you.
you were articulate. Yeah, so.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
And you were looking at all of us. You were including all of us in your presentation, speaking to me. That felt great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other feedback?
Colleague.
Yeah, it felt like I can listen to him for a long time.
Yeah,
You know,
yes.
you could just go on and, yeah.
Tell us more about it.
Yeah, unless you come, you should listen to others. Thank you, I appreciate that.
All right, thank you, Dr. Evans. Let's see the doctor I can introduce next.
Oh, Dr. Collins, Dr. Collins. You have the floor now.
Yes.
All right, let's welcome Dr. Collins to present his presentation. Thank you, Dr. Collins.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Collins, and I don't have a lot. I don't have a specific topic that I want to share with you, but I will just talk about my country. I'm coming from Zambia, which is like a landlocked country in southern part of Africa. It is surrounded by 7 countries. We oftentimes say it is landlocked, but actually it's land linked, and it's surrounded by 7 other countries, which are Tanzania, Malawi, Zimbabwe, Namibia, Mozambique, and DRC. So those are pretty much the countries that surround my country. And the population of Zambia just hit 20 million. So we are pretty much a young country compared to the US. So yeah, and we have a lot of tourist attractions. Our country houses, I don't know if you have heard of the Victoria Falls. It's one of the beautiful falls in Southern Africa, and we share it with Zimbabwe. So if you're looking for a tourist destination, please consider Zambia. So yeah, that's pretty much what I felt like sharing. And it's a mining country as well. So I'm coming from the copper belt where we mine a lot of copper. No wonder the name copper belt. So because there's a lot of copper, and recently they discovered that the country has one of the high grade copper. So yeah, it's actually a country with a promising future. Thank you.
That's my 2-minute timer. All right, feedback for Dr. Collins.
I like the way how he stressed on few words compared to the others so that we know, okay, we need to focus on this. So that was really nice. I guess intonations were really good.
Any other?
I can also see, sorry, compared to the previous presentation, I can see you relaxing, like you feel comfortable talking to us in a more conversational manner. That's how I like. So I feel that when you, I don't know why you didn't use your research this time, but I feel that the more you practice with your research, you become attuned to how you tell us in a more comfortable way like
I
this.
was just telling him that you have a research.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
And that's so, I remember most of the, most of your research stuff.
yeah, because
I feel like I needed to share something different.
No, you should.
No.
that's you need to
Yeah,
polish it
that's a
daily.
practice.
Okay.
So like now you did the first one previously, so I was expecting that this time I'll feel relaxed and listen to you like here again. Yeah. Got it, but
But given all that,
Mhm.
you didn't have to apologize at the beginning
Mhm.
because you were not going to do what you thought maybe you should do. I think what you spoke about was exciting. I know we've got a relationship with Copperbelt University in Zambia, and I know that there's a whole new arrangement starting. It's exciting. I was thrilled to hear about it, and I was curious about why you felt you needed to apologize. I understand now, because it should have been on the topic. But I think, because I do the same thing sometime, and I think, you know, I'm gonna talk about this, so I should be confident, you know? But agree, talk about your research, because that'll be easier to be confident about. Maybe you wouldn't have felt the need to apologize to start it off, because it was great, and I was thrilled to hear about it.
Thank you.
And what I liked about it is you ended strong. You fizzled out, but then you came back with some more, and then you ended strong with saying, you know, thank you. So we knew that you were done. You want to make it clear to your audience, I'm done. And rather than let it die out, don't let it die out. And so that you did come back with some more, and then you finished strong.
What about eye contact? Did I maintain eye contact?
yeah, just like
You did not look at me. I felt so isolated.
All right.
Something's for him to work
All
on.
right.
Just for-
All right.
All right, well,
Thank
just
you,
put that
Dr.
in the
Collins.
dustbin.
Thank you.
Next time up to the bottom.
The next doctor, volunteers?
I can go next.
All right.
Yeah,
refresh
she's
my
gonna be a
memory.
doctor. Jump right up there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
What
it's her
is your first,
second
what's your
year.
name?
Very
Yeah,
close.
Kuncha.
Kuncha. All right, so welcome to the front, Dr. Kuncha.
That sounds good.
Who's
No,
going
it
to
is.
share her expertise. Thank you, Dr. Kuncha.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Today, I'll be talking about some of the genes that I'm working with and how they're associated with causing some of the developmental defects related to heart. So there are a lot of patients or people born with congenital heart defects. So I am concerned about it, and hence, like me and my lab mates are working on multiple genes. So these are called FOX class category of genes, FOX, because these genes are conserved, or rather they are present in unicellular organisms or like yeast and as well as us. I'm interested in studying those genes because if they are conserved in so many different organisms, means that they have to play a very important role, right? So, and hence I'm studying these genes and how they can be related to heart defects, causing heart defects, right? So I have studied 2 of those genes as of now. in fruit flies and found that both of them do cause defects, especially some of the muscles that are connecting to the heart are deformed in these mutants. Right? So that's one interesting result I have as of now. And my next part of the research is to find out what could be or what are the mechanisms that are involved in causing these kind of mutations. So yeah, thank you for letting me share my research with you all. Thank you.
We should stand there.
Yeah, my bad. I just realized that.
Don't give up that doctorate yet.
Yeah, stay there. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
And that was a 2-minute timer. All right, so some feedback for Dr. Concha.
She elaborated her research points in a very clear manner, where she started with what she's interested in and how she went about and what she found. And I like and I really want to know what happens at the end of your dissertation. And what do you really find with that heart defects and how that could be impactful?
I think that this practices is doing us a great deal of good.
Yes.
Because I can see a vast difference from the previous presentation and this one.
Yeah.
I could follow like getting clearly, okay, this is what you're doing, this is what you've done, and this is what I love it.
And like yesterday, we were struggling to find our way out.
Yes.
Yes.
Two things. Number one, you took a very complex topic and simplified it for somebody like me.
Yeah.
And I think that's always a good thing. Number two, how in the world do you study the heart muscles of a fruit fly? So I gotta read your dissertation and figure all that out. What strategy?
Very carefully.
So we use microscopy, obviously, because they are tiny and we don't have that resolution, right? So we use fluorescent microscopy to tag certain proteins and visualize them. That helps us to, identify things.
See, you took a second complex based on a question and you nailed it, so.
And you may
explained
very
it
well
to
get
me.
that same question.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And I love your body language and the use of your gesturing, especially as it helps to convey the complex parts you're talking about. And if it's a difficult word that you feel might need more elaboration, then you spell it out, and that was
Right.
helpful.
Okay.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah, and just in addition, like it's not really, I know we were not prepared for like a presentation like this one, but it just ties into what we learned on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, where an outfit also really matters. Like it's important, like how you dress.
That's true.
Because I was trying to figure out what are those skeletons doing over there. So when you just moved up there, I got distracted. Like, what are those skeletons doing? Yeah. So
That's a cartwheel.
yeah. Yeah. So I think I know it doesn't apply to you because you
No,
don't
that
prepare
makes
for it.
sense.
Yeah,
That's
but
true.
I think also like outfits, like they do distract the audience to some degree.
Just curious. Do you when you are looking into the microscope, are you in your lens or this one is out? Like
Oh, my glasses. It's actually personal preference. Some people like to take their glasses out, but some people like to put them on. It doesn't really matter because anyway, you're focusing to observe. So you can fine tune with your power as well in the microscope.
So whether you're putting it on or not, it doesn't have effect on your
Yeah.
observation.
Yes.
The outcome, okay?
And also like our microscope is connected to a computer.
Okay.
So it has a big screen that
Right.
also displays
Got it.
what we see.
I was just curious.
You all should definitely visit our lab sometime.
You should invite us.
Yeah.
Make an event through Graduate Student Association, invite all the graduate students. Students
And the advisor.
And the
Yeah.
advisor. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well done, Dr. Kuncha.
Yeah.
Well done.
There you go.
Another
see all
volunteer.
Research, so.
Another volunteer who'd like to talk. And it's okay if you're not completely ready, but first, let me have your name.
Yes, I'm Lincoln.
Lincoln. Dr. Lincoln, come on up.
I'm not talking without Abraham. No, I'm Lincoln Molinbert.
Oh, Dr. Abraham Lincoln.
You know, that's what I thought when my first name.
All right, thank you, Dr. Lincoln.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. I'm Lincoln and I'm pursuing my PhD in microbiology in the Department of Biology at Indiana State University. And I'm a first year PhD student from Dr. Cho's lab. And today I would like to talk about my research that I am doing in my lab. So basically my research focus is to study the virulence factor of one of the major human pathogen, Streptococcus pyogenes. So Streptococcus pyogenes basically is it's a throat bacteria that causes several diseases like pharyngitis, also sore throat. So also it is one of the major reason of worldwide death every year. So that's why I'm trying to figure out the potent mechanism by which this pathogen cause disease and in human body. Because if we get idea about the virus mechanism, we can prevent the bacteria. We can introduce new therapeutic measures against it. So as I am a first year PhD student, my research is not that much enriched, but so far I found very interesting findings in my lab. So basically, I was working on two different genes, and one is the phosphodiesterase gene of this bacteria, and another one is OPOAC gene. So basically, this bacteria produce several virulence factor, virulence protein like protease, hemolysin, and I was trying to figuring out those two genes, how they help or how they act in the protease production. So I found the deletion of those two genes from the bacteria. So I first deleted one gene from the bacteria and another gene from another bacteria, differently. And I found deletion of the gene from the bacteria inhibit the protease activity of this pathogen. And then I tried to combine my research. I deleted both genes from one bacteria, and I found the deletion of both genes somehow rescuing the protease activity again. So that's a very interesting finding. So now I'll try to figure it out how this mechanism is working basically. So how the deletion of both genes is rescuing the function, and why the deletion of single gene from this bacteria is inhibiting the protease activity. Okay, thank you all for your patient sharing.
So right about 2 minutes, 40 seconds. So very good. Some feedback.
I think, sorry, comments.
I will just be brief. So we understand that you're trying to sell your presentation to us, but you were like trying to explain every single thing you are doing. So, and yes, you missed it, but we were told to say only focus on the main points. Don't try to explain everything to your audience, everything that you did or that you're doing to your audience. Just
I think I was also trying to mention he presented the best at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
That was the most important thing, that he observed these and removed one of the genes and saw the results. So first he was scattered, as you pointed out, because we were scattered in the first day. So he has that experience now, but next time he will be fine.
Thank you so much for your feedback.
I think that's but
Yeah,
it was
I
great.
work on it.
It was nice the way you put it at the last stages on how that affected and what you found very interesting. So that was very nice.
And you were nervous, but you overcame it. You
Yeah.
focused on your topic.
Yeah.
You brought yourself back. You made eye contact. So you took something that made you a little nervous and you turned it into something very good. So, well done.
Thank you so much.
Excellent.
Thank you so much for your I'll definitely work on it.
Lincoln. Please. My turn.
Yes, it is.
Wait, I haven't given you his name.
Yeah.
Sir? What's your name?
My name is Shishi Sarkar.
All right.
Dr.
Dr. C.C. Shokka.
Okay.
sorry. Hello everyone, I am Shishi Sarkar. Right now I am doing my first year PhD at Dr. Joe's lab. My specialization is in biology. So I will present my topic. So I did an experiment in my master's. So it was not very long, but I will tell you in a short way. So the topic of my research was a study of callus induction and in vitro mutagenesis in rice genotypes. There were actually three rice genotypes. Lombur, BR11 and BR47, and I use the gamma radiation to change the genotypes. Okay, so actually we did this experiment with the rice crop. We did the experiment with rice genotypes because in our country most of the people depends on rice because at least 90% people are getting their food habit from that rice crops. So in our country, most of the farmers use different type of strains from rice. We tried our experiment to improve the characteristics of rice genotypes by using that gamma radiation. At first, we use the callus from the seed to grow, and then we applied those gamma radiation to those rice genotypes, and at last we checked those strains at different conditions. So in short, basically my experiment was to improve the characteristics of rice genotypes, and that will help. I thought that it will help us maybe in different way, and it required a long time. I was in my halfway to my experiment. After that, I submitted my thesis, and that's all. Thank you.
You didn't find the results.
Basically, I was halfway from my experiment. I applied those gamma radiation at different doses, and I found that one of the strains responded, but the other two didn't respond. So those samples from that responded one, we transferred that strains to another lab, and I didn't contact that lab again. So I don't have any idea of that project right now.
I think that's the thing you missed during your presentation. I mean, your findings. So you focused on the things you worked on and what is its significance, but you have not focused the findings that you had during your research.
Basically, that crop product needs some more time. That's why I don't have any finding.
Well, tell us that then.
Yeah. Tell us that it was the findings were not
Yeah.
completed
Or the project is still
Still
ongoing
ongoing
and
and,
I did that project in 2018, and my PI, though they are working on that project, and honestly, I didn't contact them again because I was like done with my thesis and I am done with my master's.
And I could see you were trying to find a topic. You went back and looked at your master's degree. I understand exactly what you were doing, but as you got into it, you got more excited about it. I think when you're doing your new research, that's going to happen. It's going to be natural. And I think, I think you were able to cover a lot, and you were confident because you were sure of yourself, but towards the end, you weren't quite sure where things were. I think that's all going to disappear once you get this new research going for your doctorate degree. So nice job.
Hopefully.
Oh, not hopefully, definitely, definitely.
he's always
humble,
concerned.
modest.
Don't worry, you got this.
And that's good. Being concerned means you're going to be successful, but don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Easier said than done.
Definitely.
College,
Yeah, I don't know if you mentioned it, if I just missed it, but when you are presenting and focusing on the main points, you need to talk about why you're doing that. You talked about how your country depends on rice, but you didn't really mention how many varieties there are in terms of I don't know if it's species rice species. Yeah, and why you narrowed down to those three? Maybe I'm also just trying to talk about it a lot, but and also I want to I'm just curious, is it genetic engineering that you are doing or what?
Yes, genetic.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, and okay.
Is there any question?
All right, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Shishi. Dr. Kawad, are you going to speak today? No, it's okay, it's okay. Well, we're at time. So I just wanted to say how proud I am of you. I think you had great practice today. It's challenging to do. And I think you're going to be fantastic if you keep up your practice habits like you've been doing and you're confident. And we have so many folks on campus who are willing to help you. So if you have a question or if you have something that you're worried about, reach out and ask someone. There are folks around who are more than happy to spend some time with you, helping you with that or give you some ideas. So thank you for having me and thank you for supporting each other on this great endeavor. So kudos to you. Oh, do you have a question?
I don't know
Yes.
if you asked us about how you have to deal with nervousness. So
Yeah.
do you mind sharing a few tips?
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I know them very well, other than trying to deep breathe before. If you can't make eye contact because you're really nervous, look right over somebody's head, because it looks like you're looking at them.
Someone saying in between the eyes,
Yeah.
this part is.
Yeah,
does that
that's
work?
too close to
I've
the
tried
eye.
that, but it scares me.
Right over their head, just look right, I'm looking at you right now, but I'm looking right over your head. And so that's a way to keep moving. Try not to fidget. I didn't see any of you fidgeting, which is fantastic, because
What's
usually when we're
fidgeting?
nervous.
Oh, okay.
Finding something to play with.
Yeah.
And I think that's because we have been meeting for a few sessions, so we feel
That's gonna be a leg
comfortable.
up for you.
Yeah,
One of the technique that I used in the room that I would have at my presentation, if there is another session, I always sit in that session. Because then that room becomes familiar to me.
Yeah.
So I feel a bit comfortable with the seating arrangement, with the environment, with the lighting. So that helps to some extent. So even if that topic is totally unrelated, sit in that session, that room gives you the feeling. And probably because if you are going to the conference where it's your topic conference, some of those people who are in that room will be there. So you will have those familiar faces, and that probably may help you to reduce anxiety.
That and a deep breath before you begin. Now, don't get up there and go. My name is Dr. Molly. That's gonna be, yeah.
I have one more question.
Sure.
So, talking about familiarity, in the room. So I get a bit, concerned or nervous or conscious when my guide is there sitting in front of me.
No.
Yeah.
Because he knows
Yeah.
what I'm doing, and obviously he's good in that subject. So if I say something wrong, then I'm done.
I
Yeah.
actually requested my advisor to not come to the session.
Okay.
It was in Indiana TESOL in Indianapolis, Dr. Leslie Baird. And actually she came to me and she said, I will not come to your session. I said, thank you. Because she told me the same thing. She said, because I know that when I am sitting there, you will have that thing that,
Nervousness.
nervousness thing. So the easiest way is just tell them no.
That's easiest, but the other is don't look at them.
Don't look at them.
Yeah.
Just assume they're
You
nobody.
know where they are, because you know where they are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In the back of your mind, you know that they're sitting there, so.
And sometimes their expressions, even though if they're not giving those expressions because of whatever you're saying, but they do affect.
And then you're interpreting that like, oh gosh, I just made that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I understand.
That's tough. So you can try those strategies, absolutely.
Right.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Any other questions? You're gonna be wonderful, I know it. I can't wait for the day to come and either I won't see you or I'll hear about it.
Is it April 17th, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
17th,
April
okay.
17th.
April 17th. All right, shall I stop the recording?
To submit,
Yes.
yeah, I think.
Sit in.
You're welcome. Oops.
Thank you so
See
much.
Good luck, everybody.